The topic of today's webinar is the future of client experience, so Quo Vadis customer service. We will be thinking about how the customer service will work in 2020, so 4 years from now, and perhaps you just like really foreseeing the future, because we can't be really for sure, but it's gonna be nice just seeing and picking each other's mind about what we think regarding the topic, right? Okay, so I think that we are all ready. So without further ado, let's jump to today's agenda. So now I separated the topic into a couple of things, couple of blocks we'll be discussing. The first, we're gonna say a couple of words about messaging platforms and how big and popular they are, more or less. The next big thing, bots. This will probably take the most time during the presentation. And the point number 3, support agents. Will we ever be needed in the future in 4 years from now? Because that's a question many of us and many of you have been asking so far. As always, after the webinar, there's going to be a Q&A session for all the questions that come up. So if there's anything you want to see answered or something was unclear, write us a question and we'll return to it at the end of the webinar. So the first thing, messaging platforms. I think that most of us recognize at least one of these symbols. So that's Kik, WeChat, Messenger, and WhatsApp. And now why do I think that messaging platforms are the next big thing and something's going to be determining the customer service in the future? Because like all the people we are in our private lives, we are using these applications really heavily already. I'm staying on Messenger for long hours, and probably not sure about you guys right now. Which one of these are you using? Jonny, Szymon?
Yeah, I'm using Messenger and WhatsApp. I'm also using different communication platforms like Viber. And basically, I would love to have like just one app when I can chat with my friends and also do some ordering, find some useful place where I can eat, go to the cinema, and I think it's going in the good way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty similar. Messenger and WhatsApp, and they're really forcing Messenger onto us as well. I've avoided installing Messenger app for so long because I just prefer to use it on Facebook. And the other day, they just were like, listen, you can't even access your messages unless you use messaging. And I think a stat that I came across the other day, which I think is quite interesting, is they're saying that 68% of users will have one of these messaging platforms on their phone by 2019. So if we look ahead to 2020, we're going to see real heavy penetration of one of these platforms, almost everyone having one of these platforms on their mobile by 2019. So 2020, you can see just how important these will start to become in the service experience. I think for me, though, the big question, I don't know what you guys think, is this a place you want to communicate with brands? Or is this a place you want to communicate with your friends and family? And how can brands integrate with that in a way that's not, hey, get away from me, stop trying to sell to me, stop trying to help me on here when I'm trying to be in touch with my friends and family. I'm not sure what your thoughts are.
Yeah. From my perspective, I'm staying on this Messenger really heavily, probably still staying on this normal messaging, mobile messages applications, but Messenger lately introduced this to the mobile messages on the phones as well. So it's really getting heavily implemented. And this is what you actually mentioned, Jonny, that they forced this Messenger onto us. So we were forced to install it in order to communicate. So it's, well, way to go. Not much we can do about it. We just switch to some other messenger, but taking into consideration that everybody's there, we are somehow forced to adapt to this. Yeah, I think I can say... Yes, Szymon?
Jonny mentioned that how to separate those two things, like a personal life, personal messages, and a brand messages. And I think this is something that WeChat is trying to accomplish, because they have an enterprise version. It's called WeChat Enterprise, and it's one of the reasons that they came up with it. It's to separate those two things, so employees can have a personal way to use it and work way to use it. Sure. So this is something that those applications are trying to do.
And
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
That's actually the similar thing what Google did, right? So you have your private Google account and this Google for Work, two separate ones, so you can just separate it together. to separate it together, sorry, to split it between private and office life. About the Kik, I think, like in case say a couple of words about it, Kik is not really as popular as far as my information goes as Messenger or WeChat in China, but Kik has really been mentioned a lot in the topic of chatbots because the integrations there are really, really heavy. And I am myself using it with the weather channel application. I will mention it later on. Szymon, you mentioned something about WeChat. As far as my info goes, they are really heavy in China, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. They have like over 1 billion of users in China. Monthly active is 700 millions. So it's pretty big amount of users. And it's not only a messaging because in China you can use, of course, text, voice, video, some sharing games. Additionally, you can integrate with your bank account, and basically you can do everything with that app. You can order transportation, pay your bills, send some money transfer to a colleague, and even they have something that's called heat map when they check how crowded cities are, and you can see it on the map.
Nice. I'm not using myself WhatsApp in here, but what's different about WhatsApp is that it does not integrate with bots yet in any way. The first three messengers, Kik, WeChat, and Messenger, they do integrate with bots to some extent. Is any of you using WhatsApp?
I mean, I use WhatsApp a lot in my personal life. I think actually all of these channels, the nice thing about the bots conversation is all these channels at the moment are pretty underutilized for customer service experiences. You don't really see many brands offering a WhatsApp or a Facebook type service experience, but maybe I think one of the positives of the bot revolution is that maybe more companies will look at these other messaging platforms and channels as ways in which they can interact with their customers, rather than just having the standard kind of phone, email, live chat on the site. There's like these other channels that are more integrated with customers. I think that's an exciting development that people are looking at these messaging platforms as opportunities to engage with customers. I know, Szymon, you mentioned WeChat and banking. I know MasterCard, for example, just trialed Kai, which is a bot on Messenger where you can check your balance, check your card statements, and so on. And I think that's actually going to hopefully segue into more advanced, customer service type interactions on Messenger that are more and more advanced like that.
Yeah. So,
although
yes,
I'm kind of happy that WhatsApp stays how it is, because I also use it a lot in my personal life, and I wouldn't like to see like the chaos that can happen. I can chat with my family, with my friends there, and basically I do not want to see some companies trying to sell me something or something like that. I like WhatsApp because it's very, very simple. They do not have a lot of useless features, and they do it very simple. That's why I love it.
Yeah, and that's a thing about the messaging platforms. They seem to gather all the applications and all the functions in one place, but this creates some sort of a chaos. Now, before these messaging platforms, the current big thing, so to say, are the mobile applications. So we have app for everything, right? For ordering a taxi, ordering a pizza, like Domino's application, whatnot. And now everything is just going into one place. So we can just find ourselves browsing like really simple, it used to be simple application like Messenger, and it's looking like a Google App Store, for instance, or Apps iStore. So this is a risk that definitely is there. I'm just wondering how the big players will solve this one out. So yeah,
just coming on that, Martin. I think one of the big questions that with all the platforms and bots people have to bear in mind is are we using this because it's better UI or just because it's the new way of doing things?
Yeah.
So as a user, is it easier for me to ask you and type I want a pizza with cheese and or does your mobile app with 3-click ordering work just as well? If it's not progressing the user experience, if it's not progressing the user interface, then it shouldn't be something on your agenda just because it's this year's trend. There's definitely really solid use cases which hopefully we can talk about in the next section. But I do think your point, you don't want to just start creating everything into a bot because that's what someone told you to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it may well be your app's awesome and you don't need a bot for your app.
Okay, there's actually a quick question for you, Szymon. Are you using WhatsApp for customer support or personal use only?
Personal use only. And to be honest, I do not know any case that any company uses it as a customer support.
Yeah, me neither. Okay, so it's been said. The chatbots, the next big thing that it's coming. We can't really not mention it. The bots. Everybody been talking about bots. All the IT sector are really just being obsessed with it. Let's just take a look at why is that so. So first, a quick definition of what a bot is and what a bot isn't. So it's not like a robot from Terminator or any other sci-fi movies, even though the name may sound similar. So it's not like, in most cases, of course, it's not a fully operational AI that will just resemble a human. In most cases, the bots are actually really simple scripts that will follow a single road to serve the customer. So they're not really beings as such. They're just lines of code that would just do their job all right. But somebody called this bots, and everybody's just caught on the name, and well, basically we all have bots all around. So with these bots and AI, the pop cultures already touched the topic recently,
Also,
some time ago. Yes?
if I may, regarding the bots, I think it's worth to mention that there are a few types of bots. It's like some kindergarten level. When it's based on the keyword, you need to type exactly what the bot wants to see and will send you a predefined answer. There's the next level is when you can type the full sentence and it will try to understand what you are trying to accomplish and then send you an answer. But also there are like very, very heavily intelligent bots when they are learn as they go. So if they receive new answer, they learn how to respond to it, they learn how to react, etc. So I think it's also worth to mention those.
Yeah, and we'll be going through all kinds of them actually. So sooner or later we'll just get to them all. So a couple of honorable mentions from the sci-fi genre. I think all this is sci-fi. So Skynet from Terminator, sorry, which was like a whole network of AI. Jarvis, which is like a personal assistant for Iron Man. So which is kind of customer support, but the personal use. Data from Star Trek. And then who is an android, correct? Robot resembling a person.
Yeah, Data, there you go. Yeah, Data, full on Android, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, then GLaDOS from Portal game, which is also a purely operational AI for the whole complex. HAL from Space Odyssey. Then from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I think the name was Deep Thought, the big AI that had the ultimate answer to the whole universe, which was 42, and nobody knew what this meant, but this was the answer to the universe. Or C3PO, who was in fact kind of a customer service thing as well, in his like the first idea when he was created. So those are the pop culture references we can just find. There's probably more and more of them because the AI has always inspired people. And this term, AI, artificial intelligence, we're not really sure if this is artificial anymore, but we'll just jump onto it later. So the mentions we wanted to go through, I think I'll just start on this one. Probably some of you guys have heard about Microsoft bot Tay. Tay was supposed, her personality was supposed to be a teenager girl, and she was created in a way that she will just adapt everything people said to her, so she learns straight from the people. So there was this first assumption that, if you put her on Twitter and she'll just get, more and more data from people, that eventually she'll just become somewhat good and we'll just see what came out of it. But it went terribly, terribly wrong. And if there is somebody just being really excited about AI, there's going to be haters who are going to say, hey, remember Tay? Tay was subject to an attack from 4chan, which is a basically internet board where we are completely anonymous. So the people kind of attempted to corrupt her. So I think, Szymon, you mentioned it last time we talked. How many hours did she survive out there?
It was around 16 hours. And after that, she was like posting tweets that Hitler did 9/11 and other stuff, and they immediately take it down.
Yeah, so all kind of racist, humanity-hating messages that you can just really imagine, the worst of the worst, that's what Thai was. So it took 16 hours for this script to become a complete monster, only because it did not have any security measures to stop it from learning the bad stuff, so people took advantage of it. And Mitsuko is a similar bot to it. Mitsuko is also... Yes?
Regarding Thai, it's also the other side, because if we would make wouldn't like to learn her bad stuff, she wouldn't be like a normal teenage girl. So if it should be real intelligence, it should be able to learn the bad stuff as well. Although she should be able to tell if it's bad or if it's okay to say something like that Hitler did 9/11 and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is like it depends on your moral compass, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting point, and I agree that yeah, if she's going to be purely like a person, then obviously some people are good, some people are bad. But I think where Tay enters a whole new realm of questions is whose fault is it that she said those things, in a sense, because she's Microsoft owned. So the things she said, obviously Microsoft had to issue an apology because they own Tay, and Tay was saying these things, but technically it wasn't Microsoft, it was actually machine learning. So, you know, it's posed a whole new question, I think, for brands is if you own a bot and that bot goes, you know, mad or AWOL or, you know, is racist or insulting or whatever, whose ultimate responsibility is that? And actually, one of the stats I want to share on this was that, you know, even now the most advanced chatbots have about an 85% accuracy of responses. Now in the service business, if our guys had 85% accuracy of responses, they wouldn't be around very long.
Yeah.
So even though we say it's really advanced, in actual fact, you can see the examples. You know, it takes 16 hours to get her to really undermine the brand. Some of the responses they're having here, you know, I'm not hating on the bots. I just think that the perception of them and where they actually are is quite, there's still quite a chasm that we would need to cross if we look forward to 2020 before we kind of really see anything that would be fully functional in some sort of
Definitely. Another example of like a similar idea for it, but a different approach was MitsukoBot, which also is a lovely girl to talk to. And the idea is that she also learns things from people, but I think daily she sends the data she learned from that day to her developer, and her developer then picks which of these things are good, which of these things are bad. So the same group of people from 4chan, they also tried to corrupt Mitsuko, and I think they took like 6 hours or so to do it, and they were really, really happy with themselves because they saw some temporary results during the chat there. But, well, developer just at the end of the day just showed that they did nothing, basically, because he just rejected all the bad data. So there was a developer making sure it does not go bad. Mitsuko is still out there. You can still talk to her if you Google her Mitsuko bot. It's also quite a pleasant conversation. I tried it myself. So those are the first two girls we wanted to mention. Next honorable mention, Watson, and I think that Szymon has something to say about this one.
Yeah, this is a child of the next example we will see, which is Deep Blue. It was made by IBM. They put a lot of money of it, and as we will tell later, Deep Blue won a chess game with Kasparov, but then here they decided that it will win a game of Jeopardy, and it is a game that you kind of see an answer and you need to answer it as a question. There are some previously known questions, a few categories, and also what is important, the user has to press a button to answer. And IBM worked on that. At the beginning, I believe it answered only with the accuracy of 30%, something like that. But after the next 2 or 3 years, they managed to make it 100%, almost 100%. And there was a broadcast of this game. It was actually 3 games, if I remember correctly. In each of them, of course, the Watson won. But what is important, sometimes he didn't know how to answer. Sometimes if the other user answered wrongly, the bot repeated what the other competitor said in the other words. So he didn't learn what the other users are saying. And also a few times he was mistaken. Also, what is worth mentioning, that at the beginning IBM wanted to signalize the bot is ready to answer by flashing a light, but the producer said it will be unfair to the other competitors. And also the bot only pressed the button when he was 100% sure he knew the answer. From technical point of view, it was, of course, using the NLP, which is natural language processing, and he was using a different way inside to process the question that was asked. And if few those ways found the right answer, it popped up with the answer. Of course, it was answering with the real voice, and of course in the real time.
Okay.
So this is, I believe, it's also it's been used currently. It's not like that they only did it for this show. It's also used now in the medicine. It helps in some hospitals to provide the proper recommendation for treatment for lung cancer. As far as I know, they released an API in 2013, so other companies also can try to use it in their work.
Yeah, there's. I was going to say, actually, Szymon, there's one of the biggest tour operators in the UK called Thompson, run by a group called TUI, and I believe I'm right in saying that as of next week, I think they're launching a beta chatbot system, which is going to be giving people travel recommendations, helping them pick holidays, and that's actually built on the Watson API, from what I understand. So, as well as winning Jeopardy and solving cancer patient problems, is also going to be the machine learning underneath recommending your holiday. So smart guy, huh? I think.
Yeah, and what is exciting about? Yes, Szymon, go on.
It's also used in the weather forecasting. It's gathered data from like several thousand of the weather radar and showing it in some laboratory, but also in the commercial apps, like it's called Decibel. It's like the music recommendation. So it shows you what music you should listen based on what you were listening. And it's something that it's called Go Motel. It helps hotel staff to provide answers to the people that comes and ask questions.
One more thing we need to take into consideration with Watson is that, like, opposed to the other bots who just had a simple reason to exist. So, like, this Deep Blue was to win a chess game, AlphaGo won a Go game, and whatnot. Watson, as far as I understood that, is a whole system and everything is connected together. So all the data regarding medicine, regarding the reservations, holidays, and Jeopardy and whatnot, everything is all connected in one place, which basically means that this bot is so powerful information-wise that we can't really even imagine it. And I think we can just try to say that if we are expecting anything like Skynet ever, the Watson's gonna be step one of this, really. So if we ever see really such a huge evolution of the AI, Watson's gonna be the first brick that lay the foundation for all of it.
So your bet's on Watson to take over the world next, Szymon, is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what Sherlock would say about that, but well, that's the way it's gonna be, probably, or not. Okay, so that was about the Watson, unless you have something to add, guys, regarding Watson? Okay.
No, so for me.
Okay, so
only a fun fact that...
Yes?
Yeah, only a fun fact that when it was on the show, it consumed 15 terabytes of data and had over 200 million pages, which was structured and unstructured. And of course, it had all the Wikipedia inside, and it couldn't be connected to the net, so it was all offline.
200 million pages opened. Oh my, that's
yes.
impressive number here. Okay, so you mentioned Deep Blue a moment ago. Deep Blue was designed to win a chess game, and as far as my information goes, it won against Kasparov in '97, correct? How did it go exactly? Szymon, you remember it?
Yeah, there was a first game in '96, and Kasparov won. I mean, the Deep Blue won only one game, but Kasparov won the 3 others, and there was 2 draws, if I believe correctly. And a year later, it was a six match game. The first one was won by Kasparov, the second by Deep Blue. Then was the 3 draws, and the last one was won by Deep Blue. And after that game, this Deep Blue was basically like disconnected. It was not developed later, so which is a shame, because I guess it consumed a lot of money, a lot of resources. But also, what is worth to mention, Kasparov had some disagreement with IBM, because he believed that during a game some programmers were helping Deep Blue to make choices, and he even requested to print out the logs from the machine, which IBM refused, although they posted it online sometimes after that, which seems to be fine. And also, Kasparov said that in few moments he noticed that there was a deep intelligence and creativity in this boat of movement, in those movements.
Okay.
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you right. It's just that your camera has gone offline for some time, so if you can just take a look at this in a moment. Oh yeah, we got you back online. But we could just hear you right for the whole time, so no worries about that. And the other one, the AlphaGo, is something more of a recent thing. Well, as far as I've checked, Go is way more complicated than chess game. Has more and more possibilities and options you can go with. And AlphaGo was designed by Google DeepMind. I think the first attempt was in 2015 when it lost against. Yes, I think it lost against one of the Go players, like one of the class ones. And then in March this year, 2016, it won AlphaGo Go game with the one of the, I think the fourth player in the world. He had this 9 dan level, because they have ranks in the Go games. So it was really a big thing, and for the long time, people have been, the AI developers, it's been their holy grail to beat someone at Go. And now this year, they have finally managed to do it. So it's also a big landmark for the AI industry, so to say. Okay, I think that's all regarding these two. I have an example I'm using on my mobile phone. It's from the Kik communicator I mentioned, so it integrates inside, because Kik has a huge, around 200 or 300 as far as I can recall, bots you can choose from. And there's this weather channel bot, and once a day at the time I said and agreed to before, it's sending me the information about my geolocation in Wrocław regarding the weather outside, and it gives me suggestions on what I should wear. What is nice about this is that every day, even though sometimes it's repeating itself, I'm just getting this like human-like information, right? So pretty nice out today, not too hot, but the sun is shining. Sometimes it's just saying, reminding me to take a hoodie or umbrella with me and whatnot, which is really nice feeling to it. It may be simple, but it's really useful just to see what the weather's like at the beginning of the day. And you can see in the response, I have a limited set of answers. During the first, I think, boom on the chatbots, there was this idea that you could just write everything to the bot and it should just recognize the patterns and whatnot. Right now, the trend in the bot industry is that you give a limited set of answers to the customers, so they can't write really anything they would think of, but instead just tap a message, one of these. But in most cases, it's not limiting you too much, and it improves the accuracy of the bot because you can predict what the user will ask about. So it's simplified but more accurate, and this is a trend we're seeing right now. So there's more of these simple bots, and also something. I'm not sure if any of you guys played it in the past. There used to be paragraph narrative books, a book you could play. You were opening a book, and there was a description on the page, and you could choose one of the options and go to a designated page.
Yeah, where you go through the door, or you pick up the thing, or
exactly.
you go to,
And
this
is what it feels like right now. So it gives you a set limits of answers, but it feels like you are still interacting, so it's not losing so much about it. So this is just the comparison that came to my mind. I'm really fond of RPG playing and whatnot, so I couldn't resist it. So that's why I channel. Okay, so the next question that has to be answered, and probably all of you guys are wondering, and so are we, support agents, will we even be needed in 2020? If yes, why? If not, why? And I think I'll be just giving this to you guys for a moment.
So, I mean, I think what we'll probably actually see is a couple of things. One is that companies who are really serious about their customer engagement will create more and more specialized or hyper-specialized teams of support agents to deal with certain types of steps within the product or customer journey. I definitely think that we're a long way of having fully automated customer service experiences that don't make you want to throw your laptop out the window. I think there's some bots that you could get away with some transactional things. So maybe if it's a simple yes, no, step process, or maybe some sort of pre-human triage. So, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done the other? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, now let me connect you. But I think what it'll actually do is if companies are smart about it, is that it will further elevate the need for quality human contact, because that's something that even today, in our business, our guys who are real people, often one of the big insults a customer will throw is, am I just speaking to a bot? Are you just a robot? You're obviously not real, prove that you're not a robot. So it's like even when we're not robots, people get angry if they think we're robots. So I think that the people who are most excited about bots at the moment are businesses. And I think the reasons they're excited for it are probably down to cutting costs more than what's better for the customer, what's better for the use case. And I think that's a really dangerous path to tread. I think they need to think about seriously what's the use case, what's the application, and who wants to use this and how, and start from that use point rather than, oh my God, bots, we could get rid of our whole customer service department. Think how much money that would save us. Let's just cram that in and figure out a way for it to work, because that's how you frustrate customers.
Yeah.
And
this one regarding whether you are a human person or bot, we get it all the time at LiveChat, and probably everybody works in customer service has the exact same experience. And Aaron also from the audience said that they get it all the time. So I think we can all relate to being a bot. I must be a robot then, right?
The challenge we have though is as machine learning gets better is how do you pass the Turing test? How do you prove that you're a human?
Yeah.
So we've had scenarios in the past where someone's been like, oh, prove that you're not a bot. So we'll say, okay, ask me a question. Okay, who won Wimbledon? So we'll say, well, it was Andy Murray or Djokovic or whoever, and then they'll go, oh no, actually a bot could figure that out. That's too
exactly.
Easy. So it's like, okay, well, you have to figure out the question to prove that we're not a bot. So there's a different problem.
Okay, Szymon, perhaps a couple of words from you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, all right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was afraid that something's wrong. Yeah, basically, I agree with Jonny. The problem with the companies, with the most companies, is that most companies treat like support team just like the sales team. They want to make it earn for itself, and the problem is that all the support activities cannot be measured in money, because it's not always like that. The person will come, get a great support, awesome support, will feel pleased, and he will buy. But additionally, that to the thing he bought, he will say to a friend like, oh wow, I had like the great experience today. So it's a problem with the companies that they do not treat, they do treat support teams just like sales teams. Yeah, I agree with Johnny that all the easy questions, like I want to book a flight, I want to check what's the score of the game, I want to buy a ticket to a cinema. It can all go through a bot because mostly it's done anyway by customers themselves. They just need to do a few more clicks. With bots, they can just type name of the movie, and the bot will prompt answers to them, and they will click this, and they will be ready to go. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. It's very easy. But generally, people need people, I think, and most of the people like the human touch. They both want to be able to express the same emotions. From example, from time to time when we are chatting, we can, if a customer will know that we are from Poland, he will say, "Oh, great! I have been in Poland, in Wrocław. It's great, or it's not so good. It depends on the opinions." But both won't be able to answer so enthusiastic. I think it'd still be like predefined answer, like "Wow, that's great," and something like that. The human touch is very, very, very important. And we can see also that some companies, especially in the enterprise plan, have like the dedicated person for contact, a dedicated phone line. So this human touch is still important. And the another thing I want to say is that bots will be more useful in the B2C segment. In the B2B, it's still more about people. In the B2C, like I buy from a big company who's like very, very big. So I'm like basically, you can say no one, like the small piece of whole customers. But in B2B, relations are more important.
Yeah, you mentioned this on the way, one of your not sure now, you mentioned Turing test. As far as I know, I think also this year or last year, there's been an AI that's passed this Turing test. Basically, the Turing test is about tricking the judges into thinking that a bot is a real person. I think a group of Russians did this, but there is some disagreement about this because it was pretending to be a 13-year-old boy, and because of the informal and somehow full of mistakes English, they thought that bot wouldn't do it on purpose. And also what Lindy wrote to us is that her support staff speaks in live chat in a way that's informal but professional, which helps customers know that we are real people. That's a good thing to go with. So if you are informal, if you add this element of humor and more human interaction, it helps. But I'm not sure for how long, because the bots are also getting humorous and whatnot. So it's also becoming a their thing, and the AI is also honest on this one. Okay, one more thing I wanted to mention, a question from Lynette. Do we anticipate integrating a bot into live chat? Yes, there are some plans about it. I will say a couple of words about it in a moment. So there's this been integration that some of you guys might have noticed. I hope that most of you live chat users did. That we are suggesting canned responses inside live chat to human bot cooperation. I think personally that the future of the customer service as such is that the bots will, in this, you mentioned these human interactions that cannot be replaced with bots. So this like either complicated cases or the people who want personal touch. In these cases, bots can really assist us. So they can just feed us the information. We have an assistant who is a bot and just feed you the data, so we can go with the flow and get to the customer really well. So we think that implementing bots into helping customer service is something that will be the vision of the following years, really. And we're also jumping on this one at live chat. And as I mentioned, we are suggesting canned responses. Our script learns how you guys are using canned responses. And globally, up to 50 tags, the chats that are tagged just as the suggestions. And on our own license, we are using as a support team at live chat, it's even up to 80% of accuracy, so to say. So it's really becoming a thing. And we are also working on implementing a next big thing at live chat. So we will probably, and not probably, this is information I got from the developer team, we are thinking about suggesting canned responses. So the script will suggest what canned response you can use to aid the customer more quickly, but it's still something that's really in the beta yet, so you need to stay tuned for this one. Okay, and I think that this is a moment for Q&A, there's still something you want to say, Szymon or Jonny, that's still your time. I'll be just jumping on the questions from our customers.
Yeah, I think the point about rather than artificial intelligence, let's call it more like assisted intelligence, where bots, machine learning, and AI are supporting those interactions, is probably going to be where we're going to move to, or where things I would say should move to. I obviously agree with Szymon about how important the human-to-human piece is, and I think it was Lynn who mentioned about being informal or at least having some sort of way of building a rapport. You know, some people, our guys are encouraged that if someone is very formal, then you might want to be formal with them. They might not want to see loads of smiley faces and winks and nudge and fist bump emoticons. Whereas if someone is very playful, you want to be playful with them. And you know, it's difficult to mimic that style. You could probably have a bot at this stage who is either informal or formal. But what you probably couldn't have is someone who reads that chat, reads that call, whatever it is, and goes, oh, okay, you know, this person's a bit more up for, you know, a bit of human-to-human banter, or this person's obviously, you know, very angry and wants to feel like their issues being dealt with, you know, very seriously, and everyone's looking at it, and etc. Mm-hmm. And that human nuance, I think, in actual fact, it will make good customer service stand out even more. But I think if you're awesome at support, you shouldn't be afraid of bots. You should be like, yes, these guys are going to make it even clearer how good our team is, because you can stand out with that. And the other thing I want to say about Szymon's point is that I think bots definitely open up for B2C more, because I think they've chosen to be like that as brands. But I think that's probably a failure of measurement. So the fact that they can't say how much value is there in having one amazing customer support interaction. What does that mean for lifetime value? There are so few companies, I think, even the most advanced companies in the world, who can say, okay, if you have a really positive support experience in any of these settings, we know that you stay with 3 years longer, 5 years longer, spend 50% more. That's really a thing that machine learning and AI could be applied effectively to help customer service and customer engagement and customer, you know, experience managers actually begin to quantify the work they do in a similar cost, revenue, benefit use case like a sales team can much more easily. Mm-hmm. So I think there's some exciting avenues. I don't think bots are going to kill us all off, not yet anyway. So we've got a few more decades in the bag, would be my guess, thankfully.
Yeah, there's this one from, unless you want to say something, Szymon, this is okay. Go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the Watson is shifting it that way, because currently it's used as a help to real people with those treatment for lung cancer. It's also, it doesn't provide like the ultimate answer. It only suggests that the person has to make a choice. And of course, there are people probably who are taking it for granted, but it's just a machine. It doesn't have to be right every time. It also helps with those hotels I was mentioning, that it helps the staff to answer questions from customers. It doesn't answer it for themselves. It only helps to answer them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also, as for the human touch, I've got a funny story. And I think bots wouldn't be able to do that, because one time on the live chat, a person came as a Lord Vader and started chatting as Lord Vader. And fortunately, the agent knew Star Wars and knew how to respond. And they were talking about phone lines, payments from phone lines and stuff. And it was all in the Star Wars convention, and it happened to be very, very cool story and very positive experience to that customers. And I think bots won't be able, at this point, won't be able to do that.
Yeah, I've had one related to Star Wars as well, so probably Star Wars is just the thing that people like on the chat. So when I mentioned this sneak peek thing, and I just took advantage of seeing what the person was typing and answering beforehand, because I do this trick sometimes, and just said, hey, mind reading. And he just said, like, wow, Jedi stuff. And I said, yup, Jedis are cool. So this is the interaction you can go with, and really it's a good example. Daniel actually wrote something regarding WeChat, that they are currently, using WeChat because this Chinese e-commerce is exploding currently. And what he's saying is that the Western systems should be shaken up by the Chinese WhatsApp, which perhaps we'll see real soon. And the question from Daniel is whether we are anticipating any integrations with Twitter, Facebook, WeChat, and WhatsApp. We are working on this at all times, integrated with Messenger, Facebook, and whatnot. So stay tuned for the features coming at LiveChat. Okay, just an opinion from Steven that chatbots are not RD2 or how customer service requires a real, even followable person at the other end. Yes, I do agree with this. I have this idea that some of the people observing customer service and bots might get this impression that some of the customer service companies are becoming really frightened, and we start panicking about it, because like, oh, we're gonna get killed and customer service is gonna be dead in a year or something. And I think it's a similar situation to I think taxi drivers in Uber, which is comparable, so to say, because there's some taxi drivers were actually denying it, just saying that, no, Uber is not a thing, we can really ignore it, and you can see that Uber is a thing. So I think that the smart customer service companies will be actually taking the best out of the bot services, mixing it together with the customer service we know right now, and then making the transition. So it's really, really good. So I'm not saying that the chatbots are bad, and we should really stick to customer service because we are better than bots, and you need people. But we just need to cooperate and take the best advantage, so you, the customers, and your customers can just get the best out of it, because that's it about it. Okay, Anne also said that she thought that this would be about integrating the bots into live chat. This is not possible yet, though we are working on it, so again, stay tuned, Anne. You were jumping on something, I think, one of you, or did I mistake it? Okay, sorry.
Nope.
Okay, and the question from Anne again about these canned responses suggestions. The canned responses suggestions we will include in the system, as I've tested it already, is about just saying, hey, how about using this one? A similar thing that I think you can see at Google. Some of you might recognize it from there. When you're writing the emails, the Google may suggest an answer. So we're doing a similar thing with canned responses, but you still, as an agent, you need to click on this canned response and say, yes, this is the canned response I was looking for. So you are still operating the conversation, but in supervising it, but it's way, way faster for you. So the system itself is suggesting what you should say, and you're just seeing if this is okay. Yes, let me just see the next questions. Yeah, questions about integrations of chat applications into other community apps. So far, you can implement live chat at Facebook website, and there are instructions in our knowledge base on how to do it. As for the direct Messenger or WhatsApp and NetSuite and whatnot integrations, we are still working on this, but you can just see all of our updates to stay up to date. And currently, I'm not seeing any other questions in here. Yes, and I will send this link in a moment. Just one more thing for you guys who have been wondering about the chatbots. If you want to get more information about the Chatbots magazine, the Chatbots generally, sorry, there's this blog on Medium, really, really useful stuff and up to date. So it's really exciting for me to read it. So I will be just sending this to the entire audience. If you want to check it, check on that. As far as Facebook integrations, I will send this in a moment, Anne. And also, we still have a couple of minutes left, so if there are any other questions awaiting, feel free to ask us. We are still here for you.
I want to jump into the China question. It was not a question, but I do agree with that. The people in China lives in a kind of closed circle, and basically they have the same app the Western world have, but in their own, made by their own developers, and it's growing and growing. And I think the whole press is not looking how it's developing, because all eyes are on the States, in the United States, that this was made in the in the Silicon Valley. And the China app market is growing and growing. The potential there is is huge. And I think we should be aware that they can do great apps, and they do it now. As we can take the WeChat. Basically, it covers all very big amount of the person's needs in the city.
Okay. I've just sent this.
Sorry,
you have received.
Sorry,
Nothing gone.
No, sorry, I was just going to agree with Szymon. I think not just in terms of the WeChat and their adoption of certain tools, but also in terms of hardware, you're going to see a lot more coming out of China. They're years ahead of the States and definitely mainland Europe as well in terms of, Internet of Things, connected devices, smart home technology, and I think their user behavior in terms of their adoption of WeChat and so on and so forth can definitely be seen as maybe where Europe and the US, North America are in maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years, which is kind of where we're looking to with this. So I agree with Szymon, they're kind of a trailblazer in that sense.
Yeah, and I think that we are about to see in the following years a big clash of this, Chinese industries and big applications with the European and US ones, and we'll just see who emerges victoriously out of it. And basically, I think that sooner or later, all of these are going to connect somehow into one big, huge platform. But what platform this will be, no idea. But it's going to be exciting to watch what will happen. Okay, let me just see. Spot on, check out where Xiaomi is going. Okay. Also, opinions from people. Daniel is saying that due to volume, WhatsApp is going to lose against WeChat, at least. And China and India is WeChat all the way. Okay, so well, thank you all for being here. It's been my pleasure to be hosting you guys. If you have some suggestions as to how to improve our webinars or what topics you'd like to see covered, please make sure to ping me on the email. Just respond to the email you'll be listening after the webinar. Of course, I will be sending out the recording regarding this one. Thank you guys for joining me. It's been a pleasure to work with you together.
Thanks, Marcin.
Yeah.
Szymon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks to all the people that came. It was a really pleasure to be here.
Yeah, the webinar is going to stay here for a couple of more minutes and then I will be closing it automatically. So if there are any extra questions after, just feel free to ask me. Thank you.